What if your dream home already had a family living inside it? Not an ordinary family. A family of ghosts. Imagine moving to one of America's most mysterious cities, believing you're about to begin a fresh chapter in life, only to discover that your new house is haunted by spirits who have absolutely no intention of leaving. That simple but brilliant idea became one of Nickelodeon's most unique family comedies. Filled with ghosts, magic, laughter, family adventures, and unforgettable characters, the Haunted Hathaways blended supernatural fantasy with heartfelt comedy in a way that few children's sitcoms had attempted before. Instead of frightening audiences, the series proved that ghosts could become friends, family, and sometimes the funniest people in the room. For 2 memorable seasons, viewers watched the Hathaway family and the ghostly Preston family learn to share one house despite belonging to completely different worlds. It introduced audiences to rising stars like Amber Montana, now professionally known as Amber Frank, Brina Id, Benjamin Lil, Peanut Flores Jr., and Curtis Harris, while veteran actors Jennifer King and Chico Beneman helped create one of Nickelodeon's most lovable blended families. The show also made history by crossing over with the Thundermans, creating one of Nickelodeon's first live-action shared universes and proving that superheroes and ghosts could exist side by side. More than a decade after the final episode aired, fans still ask the same questions. Why did the show end so suddenly? Why was New Orleans chosen as its setting? How were all those ghost effects created? And what happened to the talented cast after they left the haunted mansion behind? This is Continent Informer for documentaries, celebrities' profiles, celebrities' news and scandals, political updates and worldwide content across the globe. Today, on Continent Informer, we're revisiting the incredible story behind the Haunted Hathaways, exploring its creation, behind-the-scenes secrets, unforgettable episodes, and why this supernatural sitcom continues charming audiences in 2026. This is the untold story of one of Nickelodeon's most imaginative family comedies. By the early 2010s, Nickelodeon had established itself as the undisputed home of live-action family comedy. Hits like Drake and Josh, iCarly, Victorious, Big Time Rush, and How to Rock had introduced millions of young viewers to memorable characters and relatable coming-of-age stories. But network executives wanted something different. Instead of another school-based sitcom, or another ordinary family comedy, they wanted a series that mixed fantasy with everyday life. Children had always loved ghost stories. Hollywood had produced countless haunted house films. Yet very few children's sitcoms had successfully combined supernatural adventures with light-hearted family humor. Nickelodeon saw an opportunity. Rather than making ghosts frightening, why not make them hilarious? The result became The Haunted Hathaways, which premiered on July 13, 2013. The series followed single mother Michelle Hathaway, who moved with her daughters Taylor and Frankie from New York to New Orleans to open a bakery and begin a new chapter. Their excitement quickly disappeared after discovering their beautiful new home was already occupied. Not by another family, but by ghosts. Specifically, the ghostly Preston family, father Ray, son Miles, and younger brother Louie, who had died years earlier but never left the house. Rather than focusing on horror, the sitcom explored how 2 very different families gradually learned to coexist. The concept felt fresh, original, and unmistakably Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon had occasionally experimented with fantasy before. Shows like The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo and The Troop explored mystery and monsters, while animation often embraced supernatural themes. However, The Haunted Hathaways represented one of the network's first traditional multi-camera sitcoms built entirely around ghosts living alongside humans. The challenge was balancing fantasy with comedy. The ghosts needed impressive powers, but they also needed believable personalities. Ray Preston was protective. Miles struggled with growing up. Louie loved causing trouble. The Hathaways dealt with ordinary family problems. Homework, friendships, school, running a business. Combining these everyday experiences with ghost powers created endless comedic possibilities. Instead of asking whether ghosts existed, The show simply accepted they did. The real comedy came from watching two families adjust to one another. The creative force behind the Haunted Hathaways was television writer and producer Robert Peacock. Peacock envisioned a family sitcom where supernatural elements enhanced emotional storytelling rather than replacing it. Instead of making ghosts terrifying villains, he imagined them as ordinary people who simply happened to be dead. That creative decision defined the entire series. Ray still worried about his children. Michelle worried about providing for her daughters. Taylor wanted popularity at school. Frankie embraced adventure. Miles tried fitting into a world that had moved on without him. Even though one family was alive and the other wasn't, they experienced remarkably similar challenges. The show's writers built each episode around universal family themes: trust, friendship, honesty, courage, and acceptance, using ghostly powers to make those lessons funnier and more imaginative. This combination of heartfelt storytelling and supernatural comedy helped the series stand apart from many of Nickelodeon's other live-action productions. Very few American cities possess a reputation as mysterious as New Orleans. Known worldwide for its rich history, unique architecture, vibrant music, and centuries-old folklore, the city has long been associated with ghost stories, legends, haunted mansions, and supernatural traditions. For the creators, New Orleans provided the perfect setting. The city's historic homes naturally suited the idea of spirits remaining connected to places they once loved. Rather than inventing an imaginary haunted town, the writers grounded the series in a location already famous for its ghost lore. Although the show itself was filmed primarily on studio sets in California, New Orleans remained central to its identity through dialogue, establishing shots, architecture, and cultural references. The city became almost another character within the series. Its atmosphere helped distinguish the Haunted Hathaways from every other Nickelodeon sitcom airing at the time. Finding the right cast proved essential. The series required performers capable of balancing heartfelt family moments with exaggerated supernatural comedy. Amber Montana, who later adopted the professional name Amber Frank, earned the role of Taylor Hathaway. Taylor represented the responsible older sister navigating school, friendships, and teenage life while gradually accepting the ghosts sharing her home. Her grounded performance helped audiences believe the extraordinary situations surrounding her. Brina Id portrayed Frankie Hathaway, whose fearless curiosity made her the first family member eager to embrace ghostly adventures. Frankie's optimism and enthusiasm often transformed frightening situations into exciting discoveries. As ghost brothers Benjamin Lil Peanut Flores Jr. and Curtis Harris quickly became audience favorites. Benjamin played Louie Preston, whose mischievous personality generated endless laughter. Curtis portrayed Miles Preston, a thoughtful ghost teenager trying to understand life and afterlife in a changing world. Jennifer King anchored the human family as Michelle Hathaway, while Chico Beneman delivered warmth, humor, and fatherly wisdom as ghost patriarch Ray Preston. Their believable performances made the impossible premise feel surprisingly realistic. The supporting cast, recurring characters, and guest performers further expanded the world, introducing classmates, neighbors, fellow ghosts, and supernatural mysteries that kept every episode fresh. Although the sitcom appeared effortless on screen, creating convincing ghost effects required careful planning. Actors portraying ghosts often performed scenes multiple times. One take featured the complete cast. Another omitted certain performers so editors could create transparent ghost effects during post-production. Objects floating across rooms required hidden wires, practical rigs, and visual effects added after filming. The cast frequently had to pretend they were interacting with invisible people or reacting to supernatural events that would only appear later through digital editing. This demanded considerable imagination from the younger performers. Crew members have recalled that Curtis Harris and Benjamin Flores Jr. often entertained everyone between takes with jokes and improvisation, helping maintain the playful atmosphere that audiences ultimately saw on screen. Despite its fantasy elements, The production relied heavily on practical comedy, physical performances, and strong character relationships rather than expensive special effects alone. One of the most exciting moments in Nickelodeon's live-action history arrived with the crossover special The Haunted Thundermans. For years, fans had imagined what might happen if characters from different Nickelodeon sitcoms actually met. Nickelodeon finally made it happen. The superhero Thunderman family encountered the ghostly Preston and Hathaway families in a crossover event filled with comedy, supernatural powers, misunderstandings, and action. The special became one of the network's most memorable crossover episodes. More importantly, it suggested that Nickelodeon's live-action sitcoms could exist within the same fictional universe. Years before cinematic universes became common across television, Nickelodeon demonstrated that family sitcoms could successfully share characters and worlds. Fans loved the idea. Many wished even more crossovers had followed. Although it lasted only 2 seasons, The Haunted Hathaways developed an exceptionally loyal audience. Part of its appeal came from originality. At a time when many sitcoms focused on schools or ordinary suburban families, this series offered haunted mansions, invisible ghosts, magical powers, and supernatural adventures every week. Yet beneath the fantasy remained relatable themes. Blended families, trust, friendship, growing up, learning to accept people who seem different. The ghosts weren't monsters. They became family. That emotional heart kept audiences invested long after individual ghost jokes had ended. The chemistry among the cast also contributed enormously. Viewers genuinely believed these two unusual families cared about one another. Every ghost possessed unique supernatural abilities. They could disappear instantly, float through walls, become invisible, levitate objects, possess special ghost powers that frequently created hilarious misunderstandings. Louie remained the show's greatest source of comic chaos. His mischievous personality constantly transformed ordinary situations into supernatural disasters. Miles often balanced intelligence with awkward teenage uncertainty, making him one of the series' most relatable characters. Frankie's excitement whenever encountering ghosts provided countless memorable moments, while Taylor's gradual acceptance of her unusual household became one of the show's strongest emotional storylines. Episodes involving haunted competitions, ghost school, magical misunderstandings, and family celebrations consistently ranked among audience favorites. Rather than relying on scares, the writers embraced imagination. Children laughed. Families connected. The ghosts became unforgettable. Despite its devoted fan base, The Haunted Hathaways concluded after 2 seasons with its final episode airing in 2015. Nickelodeon did not provide a single dramatic reason for the cancellation. Like many children's television series, the decision appears to have reflected a combination of factors, including programming strategy, ratings considerations, production costs, and the network's desire to make room for new live-action projects. Because the finale did not function as a definitive ending, many viewers were surprised when no 3rd season followed. Fans continued hoping the Hathaway and Preston families would return for additional supernatural adventures. That return never came. Yet cancellation could not erase the show's legacy. Over time, streaming services introduced The Haunted Hathaways to entirely new audiences. Children who were not even born when the series premiered now discover it alongside other Nickelodeon classics. Its unique blend of comedy, fantasy, and family storytelling has helped it endure far beyond its original broadcast. More than a decade has passed since The Haunted Hathaways aired its final episode, but the series continues to enjoy a loyal following among Nickelodeon fans. What began as an imaginative sitcom about 2 families, one living and one ghostly, sharing the same New Orleans mansion has become a nostalgic favorite for viewers who grew up during Nickelodeon's 2010s era. For the talented young cast, the show served as a launching pad. Some continued acting in major television productions, others explored music, voice acting, and filmmaking, while a few chose quieter lives away from Hollywood. Today, we're revisiting where the unforgettable members of the Haunted Hathaways family are in 2026. Amber Frank, formerly Amber Montana, Taylor Hathaway. As the responsible and determined Taylor Hathaway, Amber Montana, who now works professionally as Amber Frank, became the emotional center of the series. Taylor often found herself balancing school, friendships, family responsibilities, and the daily chaos of living with ghosts. Amber's grounded performance helped make even the show's most supernatural storylines feel believable. Following the Haunted Hathaways, Amber continued acting in television and independent film while also expanding into producing and writing. Unlike many child stars who remained constantly in the spotlight, Amber deliberately built her career at a steady pace, selecting projects that allowed her to mature as an actress. She has also maintained an active presence on social media, where she occasionally reflects on her Nickelodeon years and keeps fans updated on new creative ventures. By 2026, Amber continues pursuing acting while also developing projects behind the camera, earning respect as both a performer and storyteller. Brina id Frankie Hathaway. If Taylor represented responsibility, Frankie represented fearless curiosity. Brina id's energetic performance made Frankie one of the show's most lovable characters. She embraced the supernatural world almost immediately, often becoming the first person eager to explore haunted mysteries. After leaving the Haunted Hathaways, Brina quickly became one of Nickelodeon's busiest young stars. She joined the cast of School of Rock, playing talented bassist Tomika, a role that showcased not only her acting but also her impressive singing ability. Her powerful musical performances surprised many viewers who knew her primarily as a sitcom actress. Brina later shifted increasing attention toward music, releasing original songs while continuing to audition for television and film projects. By 2026, she has established herself as both an actress and recording artist, balancing music with selective screen roles and remaining one of Nickelodeon's most successful alumni of the 2010s. Benjamin Lil Peanut Flores Jr., Louie Preston. No ghost caused more hilarious trouble than Louie Preston. Played brilliantly by Benjamin Flores Jr., better known early in his career as Lil Peanut, Louie's mischievous personality made him an instant fan favorite. Benjamin's natural comedic timing often stole entire scenes. Following the series, his career expanded rapidly. He starred alongside Adam Sandler in the Netflix comedy Hubie Halloween. He became a familiar face in television dramas and streaming productions. He also developed an impressive resume in voice acting, lending his voice to animated series and family projects. Benjamin continued balancing acting with music, gradually transitioning from child performer to mature young actor. By 2026, he remains active in both film and television, widely regarded as one of the most successful young actors to emerge from Nickelodeon during the 2010s. Curtis Harris Miles Preston. As the thoughtful ghost Miles Preston, Curtis Harris brought warmth and emotional depth to the series. Unlike his younger brother Louie, Miles often struggled with questions of identity, belonging, and adapting to a changing world despite remaining a ghost. His friendship with Taylor became one of the show's strongest relationships. Following the Haunted Hathaways, Curtis continued acting while exploring writing, directing, and producing. He has appeared in independent films, television productions, and creative projects that allowed him to expand beyond family sitcoms. Curtis has also spoken about his passion for storytelling and filmmaking behind the camera. By 2026, he continues building a diverse entertainment career that combines acting with creative development. Jennifer King Michelle Hathaway. Every supernatural family needed someone capable of keeping life organized. That responsibility belonged to Michelle Hathaway, wonderfully portrayed by Jennifer King. As the hardworking single mother determined to build a better future for her daughters, Michelle grounded the sitcom's fantasy with genuine emotional warmth. King's performance reminded audiences that beneath every ghost story stood an ordinary family trying to make a home. Following the series, Jennifer King continued working steadily in television, commercials, theater, and voice acting while remaining active within the entertainment community. Although she has generally maintained a lower public profile than some of her younger co-stars, she remains warmly remembered for her role in one of Nickelodeon's most imaginative family sitcoms. Chico Bunnaman Ray Preston. As Ghost Father Ray Preston, Chico Bunnaman combined comedy, wisdom, and heartfelt emotion. Ray wanted nothing more than to protect his sons while adjusting to an unusual afterlife that suddenly included living roommates. His chemistry with Junafka King became one of the emotional foundations of the show. Before joining Nickelodeon, Bunnaman had already built a successful television career, appearing in sitcoms including Half and Half. Following the Haunted Hathaways, he continued acting in television, independent films, directing, producing, and mentoring younger performers. By 2026, Chico remains an active and respected figure in the entertainment industry, continuing to work both in front of and behind the camera. The world of the Haunted Hathaways extended far beyond the two families living inside the haunted mansion. Recurring classmates, neighbors, teachers, ghosts, and supernatural visitors helped make New Orleans feel like a living, magical community. Many supporting actors continued successful careers across television, streaming productions, voice acting, commercials, and theater. Some gradually stepped away from acting to pursue education, business, or other professional interests. Although not every recurring performer remained in Hollywood, each contributed to the rich world that fans continue celebrating today. One reason the Haunted Hathaways remains enjoyable to revisit is the number of recognizable faces who appeared throughout its run. Among the most memorable guests were several fellow Nickelodeon stars, especially during crossover events and special episodes. Karakusalan, Jack Gruffa, Addison Rucka, Doga Velazquez, Chris Tolman, and Russa Bleasy appeared as members of the Thunderman family during the hugely popular crossover event, introducing superhero comedy into the world of ghosts. Karakusalan, Jack Gruffa, Addison Rucka, Doga Velazquez, Chris Tolman, and Russa Bleasy helped create one of Nickelodeon's most memorable crossover specials. The series also welcomed veteran performers including Ernie Hudson, whose appearance added extra excitement for longtime television and film fans. These guest appearances demonstrated Nickelodeon's growing confidence in building connections between its live-action series and introducing audiences to performers from across the network. Every successful television series begins with a creative vision. For the Haunted Hathaways, that vision belonged to Robert Peacock. Peacock imagined a family sitcom unlike anything Nickelodeon had previously attempted. Rather than creating frightening ghosts, he focused on relationships, acceptance, family, friendship, and finding common ground despite enormous differences. His concept transformed a haunted house into a warm family home where comedy replaced fear. Following the series, Peacock continued writing and producing for television while contributing to additional entertainment projects. Although The Haunted Hathaways remains his best-known Nickelodeon creation, his work helped demonstrate that fantasy and heartfelt family storytelling could successfully coexist within a traditional sitcom format. One reason audiences continue loving The Haunted Hathaways is the believable chemistry among its performers. Interviews over the years have shown that many cast members remained supportive of one another long after filming ended. Bruna Udda, Benjamin Flores Joa, Cups Harris, and Amber Frank have each spoken positively about their Nickelodeon experiences and the friendships they developed while making the series. Like many productions featuring young actors, the cast gradually followed different professional paths after the show concluded. Some focused on acting. Others pursued music. Some explored producing and directing. Yet reunions through conventions, interviews, and social media interactions have continued reminding fans of the close relationships formed during production. Every member of the cast contributed something memorable. Amber Frank gave tailored determination and maturity. Bruna Udda brought endless enthusiasm to Frankie. Benjamin Flores Joa transformed Leia into one of Nickelodeon's funniest ghost characters. Cuts Harris balanced comedy with emotional depth. Junafka King and Chico Bunnaman grounded the supernatural world with believable parental performances. Together they proved that even ghosts could become family. More than 10 years after the series ended, The Haunted Hathaways continues introducing new viewers to its magical world through streaming platforms and reruns. Its cast has grown up. Their careers have evolved. But the Haunted Mansion in New Orleans remains one of Nickelodeon's most charming fictional homes. More than a decade has passed since The Haunted Hathaways aired its final episode, yet the laughter, ghostly adventures, and unforgettable characters continue to live on. While many Nickelodeon sitcoms focused on ordinary teenagers navigating school and friendships, The Haunted Hathaways dared to ask a far more unusual question. What happens when a living family shares a home with ghosts? The answer became one of the network's most original family comedies. The series blended supernatural fantasy with heartfelt storytelling, proving that even spirits trapped inside an old New Orleans mansion could teach lessons about friendship, trust, forgiveness, and acceptance. Although the show lasted only 2 seasons, its influence has continued growing through streaming platforms, reruns, and nostalgic fans introducing it to a new generation. The greatest strength of The Haunted Hathaways was that it never treated ghosts as frightening monsters. Instead, ghost powers became the source of endless comedy. Almost every episode featured supernatural abilities, creating hilarious misunderstandings. Watching Ray Preston float through walls simply to avoid responsibility never became boring. His mischievous personality transformed ordinary situations into complete chaos. Whether hiding homework, playing tricks on his brother, or accidentally terrifying visitors, Ray constantly reminded viewers why he became one of Nickelodeon's funniest supernatural characters. Miles Preston often used his ghost abilities more responsibly. Yet even his best intentions frequently backfired. His invisible appearances during school situations, family conversations, or emotional moments often created wonderfully awkward comedy. Then there was Ray Preston, the ghost father who desperately tried maintaining order despite possessing supernatural powers that rarely made parenting easier. No matter how hard Ray attempted to act responsibly, Ray usually found a creative way to turn ghost powers into another hilarious disaster. The Hathaway family also contributed plenty of comedy. Watching Michelle slowly accept that ghosts genuinely lived inside her home created some of the series' funniest early moments. Meanwhile, Frankie Hathaway embraced the supernatural almost immediately. Instead of fearing ghosts, she wanted adventures. She treated ghost powers as exciting opportunities rather than terrifying mysteries. Taylor, on the other hand, remained the practical voice of reason. Her reactions often reflected exactly what viewers were thinking whenever another impossible ghost situation unfolded. Together, the contrast between human logic and supernatural chaos created comedy unlike anything else on Nickelodeon. Every fan has favorite episodes. Among the most memorable were the pilot episodes introducing the Hathaway family to their haunted home. Watching both families struggle to accept each other's existence established the emotional foundation for everything that followed. The crossover special The Haunted Thundermans quickly became one of Nickelodeon's biggest live-action events. When superheroes entered a haunted mansion, audiences received exactly the kind of imaginative crossover they had always hoped for. Ghost powers collided with superhero abilities. Misunderstandings multiplied. Comedy followed. The special demonstrated that Nickelodeon's sitcom universe could successfully bring together characters from completely different shows while preserving each series' unique personality. Holiday episodes also ranked among fan favorites. Celebrations involving ghosts naturally produced hilarious complications. Birthday parties, family dinners, school dances, talent competitions. Every ordinary event somehow became extraordinary once invisible spirits joined the festivities. Many viewers also remember episodes exploring Miles' desire to experience a more normal teenage life despite being a ghost. These stories balanced comedy with surprisingly heartfelt emotion, reminding audiences that beneath the supernatural premise stood relatable characters searching for friendship and belonging. One reason The Haunted Hathaways feels so natural is because the cast genuinely enjoyed working together. Amber Frank, Brina Id, Benjamin Flores Jr., and Curtis Harris were all young performers experiencing important stages of their careers. Between scenes, interviews, and social media posts over the years have shown a playful atmosphere, with cast members sharing jokes, celebrating birthdays, and supporting one another's projects. The chemistry between Benjamin Flores Jr. and Curtis Harris translated directly onto the screen. Their believable sibling relationship became one of the emotional foundations of the series. Amber Frank and Brina Id similarly developed an authentic sisterly dynamic. Rather than feeling forced, their relationship evolved naturally over 2 seasons. Veteran performers Jennifer King and Chico Beneman also helped create a welcoming environment for the younger actors. Their experience allowed the production to balance professionalism with the light-hearted spirit that defined the series. Although the cast gradually pursued different careers after 2015, many have continued expressing appreciation for the friendships formed during production and the opportunity to be part of one of Nickelodeon's most unique sitcoms. Television history is filled with family sitcoms. Very few successfully combine supernatural fantasy with genuine emotional storytelling. The Haunted Hathaways accomplished exactly that. Instead of treating ghosts as villains, the series treated them as family members. It explored acceptance, forgiveness, blended families, moving forward after loss, learning to trust people who seem completely different. Those universal themes gave the sitcom emotional depth far beyond its colorful ghost effects. The show also demonstrated that children's television could embrace fantasy without becoming frightening. Parents appreciated the positive family messages. Children loved the magical adventures. Teenagers related to school, friendships, and growing up. That broad appeal has helped the series remain popular long after its original broadcast. Streaming services have introduced entirely new audiences to the Hathaway and Preston families. Many younger viewers discover the sitcom today without realizing it originally premiered more than a decade earlier. That continued popularity speaks volumes about the timeless quality of its storytelling. Perhaps the greatest compliment any television series can receive is leaving audiences wanting more. That perfectly describes The Haunted Hathaways. When Nickelodeon concluded the series in 2015 after 2 seasons, many fans were genuinely surprised. Unlike some sitcoms that receive carefully planned finales, The Haunted Hathaways ended without providing a major farewell or resolving every storyline. There was still enormous potential. Taylor and Miles' relationship continued developing. Frankie still had countless supernatural adventures waiting. Louie undoubtedly had hundreds more ghostly pranks to invent. Ray and Michelle's unusual blended family had barely begun exploring all the possibilities of sharing one haunted house. Many fans believed the show deserved several additional seasons. Even today, online discussions frequently ask why the sitcom ended so soon. While Nickelodeon never pointed to one single reason for ending the show, industry observers generally attribute the decision to the network's evolving programming strategy and the normal turnover of children's television series rather than any specific controversy surrounding the production. As nostalgia continues driving Hollywood revivals, one question naturally returns. Could the Haunted Hathaways come back? The concept itself remains surprisingly flexible. A modern continuation could explore the Hathaway daughters as adults. Perhaps the Preston ghosts remain exactly the same while the living family has changed over time. New generations could move into the haunted mansion. Or the original cast could reunite for a holiday special celebrating the unusual family that audiences still love. The success of recent Nickelodeon reunions and revival projects has shown there is genuine audience interest in revisiting classic series. However, as of 2026, there has been no official announcement of a reboot, reunion movie, or continuation of The Haunted Hathaways. For now, reunion discussions remain hopeful fan speculation rather than confirmed production plans. Still, given the affection audiences continue showing the series, nothing seems impossible. Why The Haunted Hathaways still captures imaginations around the world. Great family entertainment rarely depends on expensive visual effects. It depends on memorable characters. The Haunted Hathaways understood that perfectly. Children imagined what it might be like to have ghost friends. Parents appreciated stories centered on love, patience, and acceptance. Comedy fans enjoyed the endless supernatural misunderstandings. Fantasy lovers embraced the magical world hidden inside an ordinary New Orleans mansion. The series offered something for everyone. Even in 2026, clips from the show continue circulating online. Fans revisit favorite ghost moments. The crossover with the Thundermans remains one of Nickelodeon's most celebrated live-action crossover events. New audiences continue discovering the series through streaming services. The Haunted Mansion may have become quiet, but its stories continue living on. In 2013, Nickelodeon took a creative risk. Instead of creating another ordinary family sitcom, the network invited viewers into a haunted mansion where ghosts and humans learn to become one extraordinary family. Together, Amber Frank, Brina Id, Benjamin Flores Jr., Curtis Harris, Jennifer King, Chico Beneman, Robert Peacock, an outstanding supporting cast, and a talented creative team built a world unlike any other in Nickelodeon history. They proved that ghosts could be funny, that haunted houses could become homes, and that family isn't defined by whether you're living or not. Although The Haunted Hathaways lasted only 2 seasons, its imagination, heart, and humor have allowed it to outlive many longer-running sitcoms. Its cast has grown up. Its young stars have built successful careers. Its fans have grown older. But every time someone returns to that mysterious New Orleans mansion, the magic begins all over again. Because the greatest ghost stories aren't really about ghosts. They're about the people who refuse to leave our hearts. Thank you for joining us for this special Continent Informer documentary. If you enjoyed revisiting one of Nickelodeon's most imaginative supernatural comedies, be sure to like this video, subscribe to Continent Informer, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next journey into classic television, unforgettable casts, behind-the-scenes secrets, and the stories that shaped our childhoods. Until next time, this is Continent Informer for Documentary